Have you ever tried sitting down to work, truly work, but within 5 minutes, you've checked your phone, answered a Slack message, peeked at Instagram, then suddenly remembered you were supposed to start writing that important proposal? It's not even lunchtime, but your brain already feels scrambled, like your mind is being pulled in 10 directions at once. And by the end of the day, even though you've been busy for hours, it feels like you haven't actually accomplished anything that mattered. Sound familiar? Now picture this. You wake up, and for the next 2 hours, your mind is in a state of calm, focused intensity. No pings, no scrolling, just you and your work, your thoughts moving like a laser beam. And by the end of those 2 hours, you've written a chapter, solved a complex problem, or created something of real value. That feeling? Hello, I am Bharat, and welcome to Audiofybooks, where you will find excellent audio summaries of books in a very easy and interesting way. If you want to learn from new books, do subscribe to the channel. Let's get started with today's book. Deep work isn't just a productivity hack, it's a philosophy. A complete shift in the way we approach our work, our attention, and our minds. Newport defines it as professional activities performed in a state of distraction-free concentration that push your cognitive capabilities to their limit. And in a world buzzing with notifications, that kind of focus is rare. But here's the catch. Rare skills are incredibly valuable. Think about it. The people who write the code, compose the music, design the buildings, or solve complex business problems, those who can go deep are the ones who make the biggest impact. But here's the painful truth. We are losing our ability to focus. The modern world trains us to live in a state of fragmented attention. We check email while in meetings, scroll social media during dinner, and multitask like it's a badge of honor. But Newport argues that multitasking is just an illusion of productivity. What we're really doing is context switching, rapidly toggling between tasks, and in the process, draining our brain's ability to think clearly. Each switch carries a cognitive cost. It's like trying to read a book while someone whispers random trivia in your ear. Eventually, you lose the plot. Newport doesn't just tell us why this is a problem. He shows us how to fix it. He presents a compelling case for building deep work into our lives through discipline, routine, and training. And one of the first things he talks about is creating time for deep work by minimizing shallow work. What's shallow work? It's the stuff that keeps us busy but doesn't really move the needle. Answering emails, sitting in unnecessary meetings, posting on LinkedIn just because you feel like you should. Shallow work is easy, seductive, and often socially rewarded, but it doesn't create real value. So what do we do instead? Newport introduces us to the concept of ritualizing deep work. He shows how some of the world's most productive people, writers, scientists, thinkers, protect blocks of time for uninterrupted focus. And the key word here is protect, because your deep work time will be under attack by your phone, by coworkers, by your own mind craving the dopamine of a quick scroll. You need to defend that time like it's sacred. Build routines around it. Choose a specific place. Set a start and end time and eliminate distractions in advance. And Newport doesn't stop there. He gives us different depth philosophies to match different lifestyles. Some people go into monk mode, shutting out the world for weeks. Others work like journalists, dropping into focus mode whenever time opens up. The point is, you don't have to copy someone else's system. You just have to commit to having one. And the deeper you go, the more skilled you become. It's a positive feedback loop. Focus leads to mastery, which leads to fulfillment, which fuels more focus. One of the most eye-opening stories in the book is about Carl Jung. In the midst of his professional life, he built a stone tower in the woods. No electricity, no running water, just a place to think. People called it eccentric. Newport calls it essential. Young knew that breakthroughs don't happen in a flurry of noise. They require stillness, solitude, space to think deeply. And while most of us can't build a tower in the forest, we can create mental sanctuaries, whether that's a quiet room, a library, or even just a time of day when we disconnect. There's also a powerful section where Newport dismantles the myth that busyness equals importance. In fact, he argues that the most successful people aren't the ones with the most meetings. They're the ones with the most depth. He tells the story of Nate Silver, the statistician behind 538, who changed the way we think about data journalism. Silver's success didn't come from constant networking or social media hustle. It came from focused, rigorous work behind the scenes. That's where the magic happens. One of Newport's most practical suggestions is something called schedule every minute of your day. Not in a rigid, stressful way, but in a mindful, intentional way. When you give every block of time a purpose, you become the architect of your life. You start noticing how much time you waste in limbo, half working, half scrolling, never fully present. And when you align your time with your values, you begin to feel a sense of control. You start living deliberately. Then comes one of the most controversial but important parts of the book, social media. Newport doesn't say all social media is evil, but he does challenge us to evaluate it honestly. Does it help you reach your goals, or does it just eat your time and attention? He suggests doing a digital declutter, cutting out optional technologies for 30 days, then bringing back only the ones that truly serve you. It's not about becoming a hermit. It's about reclaiming your mind. And speaking of reclaiming, Newport dives into the idea of downtime. Most people assume productivity is about doing more. Newport flips that. He says, rest is part of the equation. Your mind needs space to recharge. He calls it productive meditation, letting your brain work on problems while you're walking, showering, or just staring at the sky. Ironically, some of your best ideas will come when you're not trying so hard, but that only works if you've already been going deep. Finally, Newport leaves us with a message that's both sobering and hopeful. Deep work is not easy. It's not sexy. It requires sacrifice, but it is profoundly meaningful. In a world where everyone's skimming the surface, the person who dives deep becomes the one everyone else turns to. Whether you're a coder, writer, marketer, teacher, or student, this is your edge. So the next time you sit down to work, ask yourself, am I doing something that matters? Am I going deep or just drifting? Because every moment of deep focus you build today becomes a brick in the foundation of a life that's not just busy, but brilliant. And that brings us to the end of today's immersive journey into the mind-sharpening world of deep work. If this summary made you reflect, sparked a shift, or simply gave you a little more clarity, do give it a like, share it with someone who needs it, and of course, subscribe to Audiofybooks for more book journeys like this one. Until next time, protect your time, go deep, and let your best work shine.